About a month after the release of Hogwarts Legacy, Scholastic released a strategy guide for the game. A guide that was stated to have all the important tips and tricks you need to know for the Hogwarts Legacy game. And as I've been doing a series on this channel where I play games but I follow their official strategy guides to the letter, regardless of how good or bad the suggested strategy is, and usually this is pretty fun. And if the guides have some bad advice or is lacking in detail, I laugh at it and move on, as these guides are generally for older games and they can only be bought secondhand. But the difference with the Hogwarts Legacy guide is, unlike these strategy guides from old games, this is a new guide that you can still buy directly from the people who made it. And to put it simply, those people don't deserve your money, because the quality of the Hogwarts Legacy game guide is in between laughable and a scam. I attempted to play Hogwarts Legacy while meticulously following the directions of the guide. What I discovered was a guide that had less practical information for this game than any of the plethora of free game websites, wikis, or any YouTube video about this game that would feature the words tips, hints, and everything you need to know in the title. As Hogwarts Legacy is an open-world RPG and features a spellcasting combat system, various types of collectibles, and a gear system that provides a multitude of buffs to your character, as well as many other elements that are standard of this game genre, you might think that the guide for this game might have a comprehensive rundown of all of the quests in the game. It does not. A map of the world with the approximate location of all of the collectibles. It does not. A breakdown of the spells in the game, including their optimal usage and how to acquire every single one of them. The guide does not feature that. Really, any information about the gear system in the game. The guide, in fact, has none of these. Frankly, the guide is really just a glorified list of most, not even all, of the quests in the game, with what little hints it offers being either lacking in detail, non-specific, out of place, or just wrong. As you can imagine, after that rundown, my attempt to play this game, using only the mechanics and information within the guide, was annoying, tedious, and ultimately a failure.
Well, go ahead, swish. How odd. Once more, come on, really swish it. Oh dear. Well, this isn't a good match at all, is it?
The Hogwarts Legacy official game guide. Get all the information, tips, and tricks you need to know for Hogwarts Legacy. In this official guide, gamers will learn everything they need to know to play Hogwarts Legacy, discover exclusive information about brand new characters and locations found in the game, plus unlock hidden secrets and other tips for completing the game's various quests.
For hundreds of years.
Now, you would think
no one has visited Vault 12
the strategy guide
until today.
designed to tell you secrets would tell you about the chest right there. Oh, I guess you can't. Can you not open it at all? Or does the cutscene force you inside?
Vault 12.
Thank you for your help.
Nope. Yeah. So yeah, you can search this chest, but it's not in the guide. So the guide does mention that there's a fight and puzzles up ahead. It offers no detail whatsoever on how to solve the puzzles or the fighting. The fighting is really easy and the puzzles are kind of easy, but like you're the official strategy guide and you have no information about a puzzle.
I see something up ahead. What is it?
The sorting ceremony is a moment to savor. Choose which Hogwarts house that best suits you. By nature, your nature. By doing so, you also determine the common room. So, first things first, the guide makes no mention of like what options you should select in order to get what specific house. It pretty much just tells you pick what your nature is, which is kind of fair, but like, you know, you're supposed to be a strategy guide telling me like secrets and information about the game, so what options lead, what combination of options went during the sorting ceremony lead to which house is kind of, should maybe be in there.
You're just in time. Have a seat.
Okay, so yeah, as kind of previously mentioned before, there's really no mention in the guide about the differences between houses. Really just the names of the characters that you will meet in each house differential. It also does not mention which options correlate to which houses.
Yes, Asians.
Now, considering through this playthrough, I'm going to be reading a book on how to play this game. That's major Ravenclaw energy.
I'm looking forward to meeting my professors and learning all I can at Hogwarts.
Indeed.
So I'm assuming...
Hogwarts has much to...
I want to go to
A
classes
desire
and
to
I'm
learn?
curious. Yeah, desire to learn. That'll give me Ravenclaw.
Perhaps you belong in
Yep, perfect.
Ravenclaw.
Spells to get you started. In Defense Against the Dark Arts, Professor Hecap surprises his class with a demonstration of Levioso, levitates objects. Although this may seem like a powerful combat, this may not seem like a powerful combat charm, it briefly disables and disorients the victim, allowing you to land a few basic casts. Professor Ronan finds a lighthearted use for Accio pole objects, introduced you to as a game of Accio Ball at Summoner's Court. Elsewhere in the world, casting Accio proves extremely handy for... Can you focus, sir? For pulling levers, opening doors, or dragging enemies towards you by their robes or armor for a punishment. So interestingly, this has us going to herbology before we go to Hogsmeade.
I do enjoy lively duels. Use
Oh,
the
easy enough.
basic cast when your opponent's guard.
I believe this teaches
there
me.
you are.
You have a new spell to teach me, Professor.
Actually, wait, I think this is
Indeed,
mentioned.
I do, and an exceedingly useful one at that. The mending charm, Reparo.
No, Reparo is
Fixes
not
things
mentioned.
right up, makes a broken object good as new in the blink of an eye.
So we're like 20 minutes in the game, and the guide is already
I trust
just
the preliminary-
skipping
Why,
quests that are
marvelous. Let us
treated
be-
by the game. They're
Remember-
classified as
Yes,
main
sir.
story quests.
Remember,
Alright. Lovely Village is a key location for main quests and side quests alike. Vendors are introduced via entertaining plot developments, later becoming a regular source for supplies. There are many collectibles worth finding, encouraging you to explore high and low. Now, not featured in the first introduction is a map of, say, available treasure chest locations or collectibles.
Hey. Oh, just one moment. This is an excellent spot to gather lacewing flies. They're pretty
Ah,
to look at.
Not mentioned in the
Stew
guide.
them long enough, they make a powerful potion ingredient.
Not mentioned in the guide, so we aren't picking them.
Draw it away from the
I
building.
so feel like I
Away from
killed
the
this
building.
thing in the Middle Earth games, Shadow of War. All right.
Life-saving protections. And as I suspect this won't be your last dangerous encounter, I'd like to give you one such set of robes. In thanks for what you did today.
So yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
no
That's
mention
very
of this in the
generous.
guide.
It's the least I can do.
In fact, the next thing
Now,
mentioned,
let's try this on for size, shall we?
the next thing mentioned in the guide is us sneaking into the library.
Plenty
Not
for your
sure
perusal today.
when that
Take your
happens.
time.
But yeah, so far this guide is kind of ass. Considering, you know, in this day and age, it's asking you to pay for secrets and information, and it's so far provided you nothing of the sort.
Class, please welcome the newest rose in our garden.
Aw. Okay, you're not expelled. No, I just want to make it clear. The guide, as of page 42, has made no mention of the flying collectible pages or of the chests
Maybe Auras or someone from the Ministry
Revelio.
Guidance School.
that you can
The
find
incident
throughout
in Hogsmeade.
Hogwarts.
Professor Black.
Potions class. During your first class, you will learn to brew 2 potions that will be useful.
Rebellion? Did I hear Professor Sharp say
The
that
guide
you-
actually hasn't made any mention of like gear or like
I did say
equipable
that. He wants me
clothing
to
or
get...
weapons so far.
Brilliant! You, my friend, have been... I'm Gareth, by the way. Gareth Weasley. Bit of a prodigy with
Wait,
potions,
what do
if
you
I
want me to
say
do,
so
Gareth?
myself.
Pleasure to meet you.
She's my aunt. Keeps too close an eye on me. Listen, anyone with a troll-sized brain can brew an Adurus potion. I'm just missing one tiny last ingredient.
I suspect that's what...
You're as clever as I simply need a single Fooper feather, as you'll already be in Sharp's office.
All right, hold on. Gareth Weasley, what do you mention? Alright, we're finally in herbology, even though the guide randomly had a section on this class like 15, 20 pages
Find
ago.
out if this is mentioned anywhere in the guide.
That this is not at all mentioned in the potions class page. Like literally, like the potions class is 2 pages of information, and then jumps to early side quest adventures. So yeah, makes no mention of this. In fact, the guide has us just starting the side quests. In the flying off the shelves side quests, Cressidia Bloom implores you to retrieve books that she has accidentally set zipping through the library. This is an opportunity to perfect aiming accuracy with Accio and gets you into the habit of scanning above your head for fluttering papers. Again, okay, so the guide has finally mentioned that there are fluttering papers briefly in that last sentence of a side quest. Where would this side quest be? There's also no mention of where this side quest would be or where this person is.
My robes are going.
So this side quest is the first formal mention of these flying around. So after we do this, I say that the guide has indicated we can actually start collecting those. Okay.
That's the last book. Now to take them back to Cressida.
Crescent. What a name. It was more common in the 1800s. You know how that is. Oh wait, does that give me a boost? No, it's just cosmetic. Okay. Because the guide has not in any way mentioned gear yet. As far as like actually like customizing your gear. But anyways, the next side quest. Okay, so sacking Selwyn is the next quest it has me doing. Like, I can't stress this enough. There's no map of Hogwarts in this, where all the quests are located. There's no reference in the description of the quest where that student is. There's nothing. There is nothing that would tell you exactly where that is. Alright, so we're just gonna skip this one. And we're just gonna keep doing them. The ones we don't know where we are, we're just gonna skip them and go back to the ones the second we discover them. We're gonna go through and just hopefully by the time we go through the ones we can find, we'll discover them. Merlin Trials. To unlock the Merlin Trials, you must first defend Nora Treadwell from Ashwinder Scouts near Lower Hogsfield. Thank you, actually specifying a fucking location. Okay, Lower Hogsfield. Lower Hogsfield. Well, that's quite the fucking trip we have to go through. Sorry, you.
It is good to see you, my
Yep,
friend.
not here for you. Here for the side quest first.
I never thought Ramrock's loyalists would go this far.
Okay, so let me read here. Merlin Trials. To unlock the Merlin Trials, you must first defend Nora Treadwell from Ashwinder Scouts near Lower Hogsfield. Nora. Nora, you around here? Nora. Nora. Are you Nora? You could be Nora. No, you're Smedley. You seen a Nora, though. Okay. So what's the next quest? Like a moth to a flame. Flying class. The room of requirement. What the fuck? keys. Talent points taking stock. Well, hold on. This looks like okay. So there's no mention. So there's Jesus Christ. So there's early quest side adventures. There's a section that starts off with early side quest adventures that doesn't mention like a moth to a flame. What about? Alright, carted away. That is on the list of early game quests that we can do. That is mentioned in the guide and we actually know where that is.
Good to see you, my friend.
There is, by the way, no mention of her quest, by the way, so far that I've seen. Carted away. Not too far from the Black Lake in Lower Hogsfoot, a goblin trader named Arn reports that his carts have been stolen, and along with them his deer paintings.
To see you, my friend.
He suggests that Renrock's loyalists are responsible. The camp is roughly southwest in the Hogwarts Valley. The carts are enchanted and will find their own way back once rescued. However, the goblins are large in number, well organized, and some are using shields as protection. Your first gambit should be to cast the Disillusionment Charm and remain undetected, sneaking up with the guards to perform the Body Blind Curse Petrificus Totalis. If all goes well, it's time to turn up the heat. Use Ancient Magic to hurl explosive barrels, doubly effective against red shields, and Expelliarmus Disarming Charm. Okay. I just want to hold on. Okay, so let me run through a few things. The way the guide is set up, there is pretty much no distinction between side quests and main quests. And this quest carted away that it has us doing, it has us utilizing spells that either the guide doesn't mention how we learn, or we don't learn for like another 22 or so pages. So I guess we'll circle back to that quest once we actually learn those spells that it wants us to use to do it. Because there's a reference guide in the back of this book. Reference library. 159. Does the reference library tell you where to specifically learn each spell? The reference guide in the back of the book does not tell you. All right, let me see. Okay. I'm just now realizing the second page of the early quest adventures area mentions Depulso, which is another spell we haven't learned. Okay, let's go.
Hello, Natty.
I'm well, thank you. I was there.
I'm all right at the moment.
If you don't mind my asking, be on your guard.
I beg your pardon. How dare you threaten me?
Nora?
What's going on here?
Nora? I finally found you? Okay, this was implied in a way that it was a side quest. Now you've got a fucking... now this has got main quest energy. What's going on here?
Accio. Incendio.
I gotta get better on that. Woo! Okay.
What on earth just happened? Nora Treadwell at your service. His...
Merlin.
The very same. Merlin attended Hogwarts, you know, and I'm...
Fixtures.
These vine-covered...
So, there's no guides for the specific Merlin challenges you will find in the game. The guide does not cover them in detail.
Yes, how beautiful! What's it?
Frankly, the guide doesn't seem to be covering anything in detail. Alright. So, let's kind of go over where we're at right now. So, we're following the guide. We're attempting to play the game as closely following the official strategy guide as possible. Now, number of problems that have resulted because of this. Problem 1, the guide makes no mention of the chests in Hogwarts or scattered across the area. The guide makes no mention to the what's the right word I'm looking for? To the gear system. There's been no mention of the fact that you can equip and unequip gear for boost. So that's kind of annoying. And so we've reached this part of the game where it talks about early side quest adventures. And this is what I was growing frustrated with. So it goes early side quest adventure and just starts listing off random side quests. But intermingling between the random side quests are in fact the actual story missions, actual main line story quests. It also just excludes and forgets to talk about numerous main story missions. So where we are is we've done this. We've done this. We haven't done this. There's also side quests that it just doesn't talk about. So some of these side quests refer to, let me see if I can find the specific one it is. Yes, Confringo, Expelliarmus, Perdificus Totalis. So these are spells that it expects us to know upcoming. It doesn't mention when we learn these, but generally we've only learned spells through main story missions. So we're kind of just gonna go through the main story missions until I encounter a main story mission that I recognize that's actually in here. Because I don't think the one we're currently at is at all mentioned in this guide. Also, affect the room's architecture, including balconies and floors. You can obtain new spellcrafts by completing quests and finding chests that are littered. You can obtain new spellcrafts by completing quests and finding chests that are littered around the world. Most are easy to spot, with some modest inside. The rare kind, larger and more decorative, you need to poke around to discover. I just want to point something out. We are on page 73 of this guide that pretty much, like on page 1, immediately launches through a walkthrough of the guide of the game. This is the first time the guide has outright said or acknowledged that there are just chests all over the place in the world and that you should loot them. So, huge moment here.
And it seems the room has provided you with a desk of description.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. It can identify unfamiliar items of clothing. One should always understand the effects of anything in which one is clothed.
Yeah. A desk of description to identify unknown items of clothing and accessories. So still no mention of the fact that gear is a thing in this game. Alright. But listen, I'm alright. I'm mildly happy because at least we got the guide to acknowledge that there are chests everywhere that we should be looting. Okay. Now that that's all set up. So, something that annoyed me. So there's a side quest that is first introduced in the guide. Yep, let me see. On page... Brother's Keeper. Parted Away. Page 55. In the description for the quest, it specifically mentions Perdificus Totalis. I may be butchering that, but deal with it. So obviously, if you were going to follow the guide, you would not do that quest until you learned that spell to do it right. You do learn that spell. In a main story quest, Professor Fig guides you through the approach to Sam Baker's tower, guarded by goblins. Fig teaches you Perseverus Totalis under cover of disillusionment, sneaky and extremely useful. That's on page 78. So this guide suggests you utilize a spell in a side quest 23 pages before it gets to the main quest where you actually learn it. Awesome. So, what I think is the case, because keep in mind I haven't, didn't play this game beforehand. That is okay. Well, until the guide tells me that, though, I can't do that. So, to recap, there are 2 side quests that we're about to do. One of the side quests specifies having a broom, or that you should have a broom and it's a good idea to get a broom, and the other is a side quest to purchase a broom and get a broom. And because we couldn't loot for a while, and because the guide still hasn't told us to sell gear, or even really acknowledge that gear is a thing outside of the using the room of requirement to reveal mystery gear. So,
what are we looking for today?
I'll have your... Okay, they're all the same. Where's the Nimbus?
That item is of the highest quality.
What's like the stats though? Or are they all the same? That's lame as fuck. I only had a guide to tell me the stats on the brooms, or confirm that they're all the same. So the focus potion ingredient, which we apparently need, is $1,200. You gotta love that.
I hope to see you again. Farewell for now.
Back to running around and looting chests. Final opponent is an immense pensive guardian whose stomps create shockwaves and whose occasional attempts to swat you with a gigantic orb. Expelliarmus is successful here too, buying time to build power for ancient magic finishes that crush the guardian's defenses. Alright. And then part 3, the second trial. And now the big guy, and I have my full things ready. Don't seem to be doing much here. Okay. Oh wow. How the... How do I destroy that orb? Hold on. Is that mentioned? What the fuck is that? Oh, I think I've just realized something. Is this what we're going with? And they're purple now? Even if that is how they work, the guide does not tell me anything about that. That is how they work. Okay. So yeah, the guide did mention this for shields, but it said nothing about attacks being done like that and being able to destroy them by doing specific spells. So we're just going to have to dodge them, which would be an issue if this game did not have a fucking Souls-like invincibility roll with no stamina punishment. Alright. Let's go. This is over. Holy. No upgraded gear. Not being able to destroy your orb attacks. No problem. I'm just going through. I'm literally just going through. I'm going through the whole guide to see if at any point it references the gear system whatsoever in any detail. Because I honestly don't believe it does. So it doesn't say we can store them in the remove requirement. It also doesn't say we can sell them or that we should be using gear. Oh my god. So to clarify, we are 81 pages into this book, and the most direct mention to the entire fact that there is gear in this game and you can use it to boost like your defense and your offense is the mention of the room of requirements using to solve mystery items. Now let me see. Literally just trying to find any mention, because obviously the idea of this challenge is to only follow the guide, which essentially means at this point that I will not be able to upgrade my gear at any point in time if the guide literally never mentions the gear specifically.
Thank you again for delivering those potions to Madame Lowing.
No problem.
Saved me a lot of time and trouble.
Okay. Well, either we have to run around and find gold for these recipes, or we have to run around and find the ingredients for them.
Here you found a bit of treasure in the forest.
Did the guide say where those eggs would be? I really mentioned it at one point. I think it was after this, but hold on. Ashwinder eggs. Find these eggs in rocky areas, near caves, and along the coast, particularly those near abandoned campfires. Okay.
Oh. Revelio.
Now I find the eggs? Or are these? Oh my god, there's a bunch of them.
Excellent.
Okay, so now I can append potions class. I'm sorry, did you just teleport on me? I think I'm finishing this fucking fight and then I'm done. Because, like, this isn't hard, it's just tedious. Because this game isn't particularly difficult, and between, like, the shield, the health potions, and the fucking Souls-like invincibility roll, with no stamina system to punish you for using it, it's just like, this game is just too easy. And despite me not upgrading the gear, it's just tedious because the lack of upgrading gear just makes me do so little damage. It just turns every single boss into just a bullet sponge, and it's just like, it's not fun, it's not challenging, it's just boringly tedious.